This weekend, we learned two important things from the White House and their enablest media. Joe's favorite flavor of ice cream.
When I was in Wilmington before the president was inaugurated, I did ask him for my 4-year-old niece, Soraya, who was very curious about what his favorite ice cream was. And his favorite ice cream was chocolate chip. So that is my update for all of you on that, but I have not found the freezer yet.
Amazing. And we also learned what Hunter Biden had for breakfast. Bagels. Let's hope he ate them. Can't wait for the daily report on regularity. I hope they're both getting enough fiber. But isn't it adorable how fast and obvious the media can change the rules? No stranger to ice cream or bagels, CNN's Brian Stelter asks this question. Is President Biden making news boring again? The answer is no. You are. Meaning you pretend that real news isn't happening under Joe, unless you think news is your latest complimentary cliche. After a week in which we saw the White House banish the National Guard to a parking lot, just lost my teleprompter, the obliviousness toward the Antifa riots, the lies about Trump not leaving a vaccine plan, a moratorium on natural gas and drilling. Instead, we get ice cream and bagels. The idea that somehow news got boring is only true once you realize what CNN was obsessed with before. Tweets, gossip, tantrums, tell-all books, and of course those attacks on CNN. But all's gone with Trump. And what they chose to ignore in favor of that drivel, of course, were months of rioting and looting, because that would make the Democrats look bad. They actually mocked those who were concerned about that stuff. Meanwhile, they also ignored the stuff that would have reelected Trump, like those Middle East peace plans and those amazing vaccines. But yeah, things are boring now, CNN, as 12,000 more Americans died from COVID since Biden took office. Remember how not boring such numbers were under Trump? I guess when a Democrat's in charge, the body count suddenly becomes reasonable, just like everything else under their watch. So, Dagan, I have a feeling that if Trump was eating ice cream, they would focus on the unhealthy lifestyle and say how fat he is. But here it's Joe Biden. It's his favorite flavor. It's kind of adorable. You wish he was your granddad.
Yeah, these Steven Sacks of Sanctimony coddled Joe Biden like he was some septuagenarian infant to get him elected, like Benjamin Button. So now that he's President Benjamin Button, they have to keep up this act for the next 4 years. They have to cover for him. Protect him, act like nothing's wrong, despite the fact that he is in less than a week, he has taken great steps to destroy our energy independence in this country. Keystone Pipeline gone, 10,000 jobs gone. Costs going up because of the Paris Climate Accord, us rejoining it, and then this moratorium on drilling on federal lands. Well, thank you, New Mexico. Sorry we destroyed your drilling and your economy, taking steps in that direction. But see, I think that the media all along, they loved President Trump. We've talked about this because they became the story. These preening peacocks like nothing more than talking about themselves and, oh, we're under attack. Oh, words hurt us. Don't say that. It was pure heroism for 4 years under Trump, wasn't it?
It was. You know, Juan, I do find it interesting that they were able to find out what Hunter was having for breakfast, and they were less interested in finding out, you know, what he was doing with the foreign powers trying to get money for his dad. But they know about the bagel. There's a hole in that story.
Yeah, well, you know, I get you. That's pretty good. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, but I must say, I'm wondering what's going on with this kind of focus, because to me, are Republicans all of a sudden snowflakes? Do they think that Democrats love the way they're covered by the media? Go talk to Barack Obama. Go talk to Bill Clinton, and you can see people who become purple with rage at the way they were covered. Go talk to Hillary Clinton, and she'll tell you about a vast right-wing conspiracy, including conservative media attacking her relentlessly and driving the New York Times and others to do the same. I mean, all politicians see the reporters as irritating and, you know, always looking for the negative story. So to me, you know, the part of the problem, as I said last week, is Trump came out of the box saying things like, my inaugural crowd's bigger than ever. Well, if you step in it, guess what? People are going to say, you just stepped in it. You told a lie. I don't think that's the press picking on him. And in this case with Biden, again, I think that what you're seeing is a lot of people reflecting national sentiment, which is give this guy a chance out of the box. There's enough going to be said about him and about the difficulty in dealing with the Republicans in Congress, getting anything actually done. I think all of us want the best for America at this point, Greg.
All right. So Jesse's saying we should give Joe Biden the chance the way they gave Trump a chance. But I do notice the way they're reporting COVID deaths is a little bit different under Joe than under Trump. Maybe that's me, though.
Well, that too. I mean, if the media treated Biden like they treated Trump, they would have gone to the bagel shop and found out if an illegal cooked the bagel for Hunter. There's a huge difference, Juan. Barack Obama called the media his base. Let's remember that. He was only upset because they weren't covering him like a god enough. I have to be honest with you, Greg, though. Whatever president followed Joe Biden was going to be boring no matter what. I mean, whatever president followed Trump was going to be boring. It's like following Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry. Like, people are going to go to the bar and they're going to go to the bathroom. Right now, you can tell the media's already bored of Joe, and they're trying to make the mundane scintillating, like the bagels and the dogs and the ice cream and stuff like that. But that only works if it's a rock star president, like a celebrity like Donald Trump or like the first black president. That doesn't work with Joe Biden. You can sandwich J-Lo and Lady Gaga in between Joe, but it's still a sleepy sandwich. There's no getting around that. You can't make this guy interesting. So they can't cover him if it's a scandal because they're on his side. They helped get him elected. And they can't cover personality because there is no personality with the Biden administration. So they're having to cover policy. And that spells doom for Joe Biden because his policies are dumb and they're bad. So the only thing they're going to have to do, if he bombs someone, then they'll pick up and start covering something sexy.
Yeah, there you go. You know, Dana, there are two things that they're giving him a pass, it seems, this week. Remember when he said he had a solution for the pandemic, and now he admits there's nothing we can do? And then he just did a travel ban for people from South Africa, which would strike the media as xenophobic if it were someone else doing it.
So Joe Biden sounds boring, but his policies are actually kind of extreme if you go through the executive orders.
Yeah.
President Trump's personality was extreme, but his policies were actually, in some cases, pretty, leaning right, conventional. And so I always thought that
is genius. That comparison, Dana, is genius.
Really? Or are you making fun of me?
Sorry. No. What you just did was you showed the inverse, which I hadn't thought of, is that like Biden's boring but extreme, and Trump was extreme but actually kind of benign.
And so the two examples I would give, Dagan already mentioned the pipeline, but there's two others that in these executive orders that really affect people at home. One of them is ending the price freeze on insulin that President Trump had put into place, and with no explanation. It's just like, I'm signing this here. And then the other one is about what will happen to girls' sports all across America. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So reporters, I do think that, one, it's not boring. Being at the White House is not boring. But they also focus way too much on the White House itself and not enough on the entire federal government. That is where a lot of big stories are, and they get buried.
That is true.